Aside from the amount of time that is spent, are there other concerns regarding media consumption? I took a trip to the Seattle Children's Research Hospital to meet up with Dr. Dimitri Christakis, who is one of the nation's leading research doctors studying the effects of media on young children.
The newborn's brain triples in size in the first 2 years of life. It's an extraordinary period of brain growth, unparalleled over the entire lifespan. And it does that in direct response to external stimulation. So, if you will, the minds of children are fine-tuned to the world in which they inhabit. And the concern that I have had in my lab for some time is that if we expose children during that critical developmental period to what I call a hyper-stimulating environment, too much television that happens in a surreal pacing, which a lot of television does, will condition babies' minds to expect high levels of input. They will come to view themselves as living in a world that is so fast-paced, that quickly changes scenes, and then by comparison, reality will seem boring. It doesn't happen fast enough. We'll shorten their attention spans. And what we've found in studies that we've done is just that. The more television children watch before the age of 3, the more likely they are to have shorter attention spans when they begin school. And we found further that those effects have a lot to do with the pacing of the programming that children watch. So the more fast-paced programming they watch during that developmental period, the more likely they will be to have attentional problems later in life.
The American Academy of Pediatrics has recommended for many years now that children under the age of 2 should be discouraged from watching any television.
So in the same study that we found that the more television children watch before the age of 3, the shorter their attention spans were later, we also found that the more cognitive stimulation they got before the age of 3, and we measured cognitive stimulation by how often you read to your child, how often you take your child to the museum, how often you sing to your child, the kinds of things that many parents think of as being good for babies. We found that the more of those kinds of activities babies had, actually the less likely they were to have shorter attention spans later in life. So if you think of it, these are really two sides of the same coin. There's certain things we can do early in a baby's life that promote their attention span, and there are certain things we can do early on that hinder it.